zoom in here as the Ghazi Raiders look to engage onto these archers, which are the front line and the back line of the Abbasid force. Doing a lot of work here, taking a lot of fire. Entire volleys of these green archers going onto these Ghazi Raiders. Hello, welcome to a casted game. Today we've got Yona on the Delhi Sultanate in the orange towards the north of the map. And his opponent today is Lash down to the south on the Abbasid dynasty in the green. Let's follow one of these scouts around while we take a little look at the map and how that's looking. This map was Lipany, I guess. It looks like Lipany. I'm pretty sure it's Lipany. Let's double check. It is Lipany. So how's this map looking? Fairly even off the start, although Lash has 3 gold. In fact, both players have 3 nice pockets of gold behind their bases. So nice and safe there. Actually a ton of resources back here for both players. Deer, stone, and the gold as well. And same for Yona up to the north of the map. And what are we likely to see from this matchup? Well, often the Delhi like to go very aggressive in the feudal age. They capture up those sacred sites with the early religious units that they have available to them, and they use that gold income to sell and buy other resources and pump out as many units as possible. Often we see Ghazi Raider plus Archer, and they can get up to some quite staggering amounts of units fairly early in the game. And I imagine that's what we'll see here, as the Abbasid dynasty on the other side of the map often look to go for 2TC play, a bit of a boom, more eco-focused. So definitely on the Delhi to slow that down as much as possible, or outright kill the Abbasid before they can really get going. So that'll be something we'll be looking out for as this one goes. Yona, almost all of the resources available to take up to feudal age, and that'll be able to let us know what direction he might be going. If it's the Tower of Victory, which gives his units extra attack speed, we're more likely to see the aggression coming out from him. We do see him pop down the Tower of Victory right now, so that will be up in a minute to 2 minutes time. We'll watch that timing, usually around 4 minutes, or a bit later than that. And we'll see how he does on that timing. And across the map, we do have the military wing coming in for Abbasid, very standard at the moment. And with the new patch that has just about to release, actually, this afternoon, there were no Abbasid changes. So I think the military wing opening into 2nd TC will remain fairly standard for the Abbasid going forward. Though we do see 3 workers still on the gold for the Abbasid after surpassing the gold he needs because he won't be getting boot camp early. So really the only gold you need going into feudal is fresh foodstuffs, so 75. We often see people stop at 75 and they will then move their gold workers onto the stone. So definitely doing something else here. Might be going for the wheelbarrow. Maybe going for the boot camp early, but I doubt that. We'll have to see what he decides to do. I guess boot camp could work. Give his infantry 15% extra health, as he will know that there's a lot of aggression going to be coming out from the Delhi as they are going for the Tower of Victory, which now finishes up at about the 12:14, the 4:14 minute mark. Both players finishing their feudal age tech very early. So actually the gold was used to build to research double broad axe instantly. This is going to give Lash the quicker wood gathering rate by 15%, and once he's hit Golden Age 1, that's another 15% for all resources. So his wood income is going to be extremely high, and I think what he's looking to do is just counter the feudal aggression that's going to be coming out from the Delhi with his own feudal pressure, and just hoping to match it and outperform it. It's going to be a tough task, as we do know Delhi, with their scholars that they put into their buildings, which increases their research technologies. They can get all their research for free, which means they can pump even more resources into the units. One villager picked up, very nice pickup there for Lash, getting first blood on the field and just denying the berries for now. Makes Eliona move over to his sheep, which he did collect quite a few of, so they will remain for quite a lot of the game, this early game. So not too much of an issue on food, and he should be safe for quite a while. We see the scout and the first of the Ghazi raiders around the back of Lash's base, going to look to harass the gold. I think as Eliona is seeing that Lash still has villagers on gold and none on stone, he will presume that he's going to be dealing with a quite aggressive Abbasid dynasty coming out. And we do see Abbasid has hit that tier 1 of his golden age, so villagers working overtime for sure. A little bit of aggression coming in here, looking to pick off some of these early archers, and does so. And I've just realized I've got all my health bars off again. That happened in a game the other day. I really need to get on top of that, don't I? But it's not that important in the early game, but we do need it now to track how the health of all these military units is going down and being affected. Military count's looking fairly even for both players at the moment. 7 on our orange player's side and has now jumped up to 8, so they are evenly matched. So the Abbasid player, nice little early build here, basically countering all of this aggression coming out from the Delhi. We'll have to see if Eliona looks to switch up his tactics. Does he want to head into Castle Age early or anything like that? We do have Sanctity on its way. This allows the scholars to capture the sacred sites before Castle Age, and their sacred sites do generate more gold. Does have a few scholars on the field, just 2 at the moment. They are busy in the mosque and the stable, but he will want to head these out onto these sacred sites. Maybe use the Delhi's ability to build walls with their military units in the field, walls as well as the siege, and start securing up some of these sacred sites for that extra gold income, and that will allow him to start pumping even more units out. As both players very evenly matched for now. We do see some defensive walls coming in for the Abbasid. Very nice walls here, going to make it very difficult for the Delhi to get in and harass any of the Abbasid's villagers and worker lines, securing off this entire south corner of the map. Some Ghazi raiders looking to raid, but the army nicely positioned by Lash, and will dissuade this little raid very quickly. And Eliona will know that the walls are coming down, and he's going to need something fairly significant to punch through both the walls and the force that the Abbasid is making and do any significant damage whilst still in the feudal age. Military units moving out to the west side of the map now. Does he have a scholar on the way? He does have a scholar on the way, so looking to get his first sacred site around the 8-minute 45 mark, as we do see a bit of an engagement here. One worker found itself in the wrong place, but does manage to survive the initial engagement. We do see the Ghazi Raider plus Archer mass, like we mentioned at the start of the game, coming out from the Delhi. Working in a few spearmen now, probably just to counter the horsemen a little better that are coming out of the Abbasid dynasty player. Throwing down another archery range, so triple archery range, single stable. Interesting choice into quite so many Ghazi raiders and archers, but the archers also for the Delhi getting that 20% attack speed increase from the Tower of Victory. So Lash is going to need to increase his archer numbers if he wants to win any of these fights significantly. We do see both of the ranged military techs, the attack and defense, are on the way for Delhi. Defense is about to finish with the attack damage another minute away, which Lash does already have. Abbasid, he already has those, so feeling good on the technology side of things as the archer mass continues to pump out, up to 21 on the field now at just 10 minutes into the game, supported by a few horsemen, but not too many. 2 sacred sites captured up now for Elyona, a horseman heading out to the eastern sacred site to decap this and just really try and hamper that passive gold income that the Delhi currently has. You can see he's getting over 200 per minute, whereas the Abbasid player only at 130. And this gold will eventually be used to take the Delhi up to Castle Age, unless he has a market, which we'll take a look at in a bit once this fight sort of dies down. But this is quite a big engagement here. Nice big archer mass for both players. Looking like Delhi has the horseman count, and there are no spearmen from our Abbasid player to counter these horsemen. So it is just on the archers to take down these horsemen. They are deciding just to run behind the safety of their walls. But now, nice pickoffs from Orange, taking out quite a few archers there of the Abbasid dynasty, down to 20. I think he was up to 25 or more on the field just before that fight. So the military count is actually swinging towards the favor of Delhi, now 36 to 22. Let's see if he did pop a market down. He did, in fact, put a market down, and he has been spending this extra gold that he's getting from these sacred sites. And that is just helping him to balloon this military mass. It's all on the Abbasid to sort of figure out what he's going to do here. He can't afford to go up to Castle Age. I think he will just get run over. Abbasid don't have any control over the length of time that it takes them to get Castle Age. There's a minute 45 no matter what. And we do see the walls to the west going down now. And this will open up a nice channel for Delhi to keep harassing and engaging this Abbasid army with. Military count still very much in favor of Delhi, and the military techs are more or less even for both players. Abbasid does have the insulated helm ability, which is melee armor +1. Zoom in here as the Ghazi Raiders look to engage onto these archers, which are the front line and the back line of the Abbasid force. Doing a lot of work here, taking a lot of fire. Entire volleys of these green archers going onto these Ghazi Raiders and not taking any of them down in the process. So a lot of DPS used up by those green archers onto the horsemen of the front line of the Delhi. And that just allows the Delhi archers with the increased attack speed to pepper the back line of the Abbasid. And he has now managed to clear out this whole area of villagers, so no access to the deer, no access to the berries or these gold mines, but he does still have his gold mine back here with 2,500 gold, churning away nicely. Sacred sites flashing up on the map as they are all still captured and retained by Delhi, bringing in a nice amount of passive gold there. We do say that as green has moved out, but double the military count now for Orange as he looks to harass the Abbasid workers on the wood lines with a couple of Ghazi Raiders. They might not get a kill. The workers actually decide to take it upon themselves to take down this Ghazi Raider, losing one member of this family as a sacrifice to that Ghazi Raider. Large army is now behind the base of Abbasid, just keeping the Abbasid player off any of these external resources as possible, confining him to the sheep under his TC and this wood line to the north as his only supply of any resources at the moment. It's going to be very tricky for the Abbasid to try and break out of this, especially if these sheep begin to run out. And there's not too many down here, are there? Maybe like four sheep carcasses remain. So probably less than 1,000 food safe currently for the Abbasid player, as Delhi does position himself very nicely on all of these resources, which Lash, I'm sure, would love to have access to. Delhi backing off a little. Doesn't want to give the Abbasid player any room to breathe, really. We could see green move out to the east. I think could be a good idea. There are quite a few resources over there. We've got deer, a couple of berries, and some gold. It probably wouldn't take the Delhi too long to find those, but Lash has done a great job in decapping all of these sacred sites. I think just using the fact that the Delhi's army was kind of confined to his own base, so he was unable to contest those sacred sites being decapped by green. Did you see a few raids coming in? Not many workers killed, really. A couple for orange and up to 5 for Lash. So Lash actually getting ahead on the workers killed, and that is reflected in the villager count above. Only by a couple, though. Not sure it's going to be enough, but he does seem to have stabilized this game just a little bit. I think that's because the Delhi has decided to go for the castle age. Aging up with the compound of the defender. Where is he putting this? This is over here. And this allows all of the infantry units of the Delhi to build stone walls, gates, and towers. And also reduces the stone wall cost of those as well. Some unique abilities, technologies in here as well. Most notably village fortresses, which allows the Delhi keeps to act like a town center and produce villagers. So very, very potent ability there, but hasn't moved out onto stone just yet. So we won't see a keep for a little while coming out from the Delhi. But a little bit of a lull for now. I imagine we'll look to see Abbasid go up to castle age, else he's just not going to be able to match the increased technology and value that will be coming out of the Delhi Sultanate once these technologies come online. It does have another 4 minutes or so, but not wasting any of those 4 minutes is El Yona. He is picking up these relics. Already 2 in the mosque, safe and sound, and a couple more on the map. 1, he's unlikely to get this one, I would say. It's going to be a bit of a miracle if he manages to pick that one up and get it all the way back. But this one out towards the east should be no problem at all. And we do see the scholar heading over there already. So that should be 3 relics, nice and quick for Delhi. There should be 5 on the map, right? He's got 1 en route already. Okay, so there's the 5th one there. And he decides to push in. Lash has not decided... Well, he has decided to go Castle Age, but he doesn't quite have the resources. They are about to tick in now, but this could be a very decisive fight here as Delhi pushes in. None of his upgrades are finished yet, so this is still effectively a feudal fight. The Ghazi Raiders charge headfirst into the spearman line of Abbasid, and a lot of those go down. Getting an awful lot of value there is the Abbasid player. The men-at-arms on the front line are tanking up a lot of damage, but not a decisive fight there, I don't think, for Delhi. Throwing away quite a lot of his horsemen, and he had a knight in there as well, possibly 1 or 2 of those. But they did get killed very easily by the spearmen that Lash had produced. And now it's just an archer battle. Even numbers-ish, I think. How many we got here for Lash? He's at 38 and 32 for Delhi. So just that 20% increased attack speed, giving Delhi the edge on this archer ball fight, and has decided to back out. 2 minutes to go on his veterancy upgrades. They do take an awful long time, especially when you're in this kind of limbo and just letting the Abbasid player do what he wants to do, which is get to culturing and probably start producing either some ghulams or some knights of his own. Knights will do very well into this composition of Delhi, as we do see the first keep coming down, and this will secure up the sacred site and a large gold vein for Delhi. So looking to recapture these sacred sites. I think he already had this one, but this spearman is doing his job well and decapping this sacred site to the west, as the one in the east gets captured up by Delhi. more knights out on the field. 2 now done as we see Abbasid hit the castle age. Did manage to reclaim the food out here, has taken all of the berries. So we'll need to either make a farm transition or move out onto some external food resources. We do see a mill being placed down on the berries and the deer pack over here. So definitely going to want to secure up this area. The orange Delhi already knows about this, and he has some men-at-arms and knights stationed out here to dissuade any sort of push-in. These are pretty cool looking man-at-arms from the Delhi. I think it's fairly rare you see these. They do look a bit like they have biscuits for shields, just holding a little digestive there. Not going to do much against arrow fire, but is great dunked in a hot cup of tea, so perhaps that's what they'll be using those for. Sacred Site is getting recaptured once again. It's been quite a back and forth of the sacred sites in this game, but Delhi has retained good control throughout this whole game, only losing the sacred sites and map control sort of very momentarily. We do see the mangonel. This is going to be a great counter to this very heavy ranged comp coming out from Elyona, as he does push in and pushes the very large mass of workers away from this food. I think the only food source from the Abbasid player at the moment. A couple of mangonels throughout, hit 1 or 2 archers, but not getting huge value there. These men-at-arms on the front line just absorbing so much of this archer fire coming out here from green. Doesn't have the composite bows just yet, but does have level 2 of the ranged attack. And this is looking like a bit of a cleanup here. Trying to protect this mangonel as best he can, just body blocking it. Even with the ranged units, it's getting good value out. It's, well, I say good value. It's kind of hitting solo archers around. I just don't think he has the production here to keep up with this mass that Elyona has managed to put together. And that is the military count absolutely plummeting from green down to only 11 military on the field. I think this is basically his entire army here. 10 archers and a couple of ghulams, and he's going to need more than that to hold off this 44 military count from Delhi. Looking like a very cut and dry finish for Delhi here. One more uppercut to Abbasid should put the nail in the coffin for him. How many more, what are they, metaphors can I use in one sentence? That was definitely too many. But second keep coming up now, securing up another sacred site. And green must have seen this as he taps out. And a great game there from Delhi, showing how it's done on Delhi by Elyona. And we'll talk about that more in the post-game lounge. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh man, it is games like that that make me want to play Delhi, because it just looks like so much fun when you've basically got full map control and you're just flooding units across towards the enemy's base and overwhelming them completely, which I think is what we saw happen there. Abbasid trying to match, staying on 1 TC, trying to match the military output of the Delhi. And just couldn't catch up, I think, or couldn't maintain the same level of output as the Delhi have, especially when they have all 3 sacred sites. So yeah, very fun one there. And definitely probably Delhi favored going into that. It looked like Abbasid would have a good transition to castle, but that second punch coming in by Delhi, early castle age, I think it was just before Abbasid had teched up, so just didn't have the techs to really fend off that fight. And by the time, excuse me, by the time he had reached castle age, he was just a little bit behind. Some excellent map control coming out from Delhi throughout that game. He retained control of most of the sacred sites for a great portion of that game, which will have given him so much passive gold, which he was then able to sell and make use of at the market. And it was just clinical Delhi feudal play, really. He didn't end the game in Feudal. I think that's where the Abbasid did pretty well defending himself. But the push in once Castle had been hit and he could work in some men-at-arms, some of the more expensive premium units, the Abbasid just didn't have anything to deal with that. So that was a fun game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm still casting as many games as I can, looking to improve. So if you do have any thoughts or anything to share, let me know. I do read it and I take it on board. So I'm only looking to improve this content and improve other content going forwards. As you may have seen, I've got some videos that aren't casted games. They're just more about the newest patches that are coming for Age of Empires, and I'm looking to branch out, create some different kind of content going forward. So look for that on the horizon. Subscribe if you want to check that out, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. See you later.